Badmos. Okay, it's good to have you. It's good to have you in this session. Super, excited to have everyone join the session this evening. And we're going to be doing something amazing. All right, we're going to be doing something amazing this evening. It's VTS, and VTS, it means it is a taster session. All right. However, before I get started, I'm going to just, ask a few questions. And, if my question happens to be something that looks like you, okay, that looks like you, then I want you to just react. Give me a thumbs up. All right. I want you to react. Give me a thumbs up. I'm going to be asking a few questions. If the question I'm asking looks like, oh, this guy is actually describing me, he's talking about me, just react. Let's start from there and see, just to be sure that I am in the session with like minds, that I'm in the session with people, on the same level, the same frequency as myself. So question number one, are you in that space currently where you have looked at yourself and you have decided based on certain levels of evaluation that tech is the next phase of your life? Tech is what you are going to be going into. Tech is something that you want to do, and you are very certain and very sure that, see, the way my life is going, if I don't get into tech, problem will happen. So let me just get started with this tech thing immediately. Give me a thumbs up if that is you. Thank you very much, Joseph. Okay, Key Impact Consult, Anthony Adeshola, fantastic. Samuel, fantastic. Great. Samuel is my namesake, by the way. Okay, Blessing, Anna. Okay, fantastic. Now, I mean, for people like that, especially those that stay in the same place where I stay, I mean, I'm in Lagos, Nigeria. So if you're in Nigeria generally, not necessarily Lagos, you know that in Nigeria, if you are not working in politics, if you are not working in the oil and gas sector, the next set of people that are balling at the moment are those in tech. If you agree with me, give me a thumbs up. So which means that if you are in this session and tech is that thing that you feel like, okay, since I don't have anybody in politics, I don't have any family member in politics that I can probably just get money from, I don't have that very huge capital, as it were, to start one very massive business. I'm not in the oil and gas sector. Tech looks like something that has an open door. Learn a skill, get a certificate, use your certificate to get a job. That open door is what I'm looking for. Politics is not very open. The oil and gas sector is not very open, but tech is very open. Learn the skill within 3 months, 4 months, get the certificate, solve a problem, and you can get yourself a job from there. So if you are thinking in that direction, the same way I'm thinking, please give me another thumbs up. Please give me another thumbs up. Then I can proceed. Thank you very much, guys. Well done. So it means that before joining this call, we have all thought about the long and short, the pros and cons, the length and breadth of everything. And we have decided that, see, tech is just the next thing that I would have to do. Okay. Now, let me go straight to the session, and I'll be sharing my screen so that we can progress from there, right? So that we can progress from there. However, before I do that, okay, before I do that, I'm just going to quickly, share something with you. I'm going to share something with you. Now, I remember just like yesterday how I used to be as well, right? And I'll tell you, I won't tell you that I did not study this and that. Well, I went to school as every other Nigerian. Funny enough, for me, I don't want to say it's bad, but then I studied computer science. Okay, but if you are in Nigeria like me, you study computer science at the time when you learn coding on paper, right? That was how I learned my own computer science. All my coding, C# that we did, Fortran, JavaScript, C++, they were all on paper, which means at the time there was zero interest to get into tech. Now, I'll tell you something for free. I was not suffering. Why did I say so? I'm saying so because, right, at the time, I had my own business running. So even when I was in school, I was a very smart, I am a very smart guy, right? Very, very intelligent, but I didn't go to school because I needed to go to school. I went to school because I needed certificates. Personally, that's just me. I don't know about any other person on the call. I went to school simply because I needed the certificate. Now, I got the certificates that I wanted. However, right? However, you know that learning tech, learning computer science, and you are having your classes, writing codes on pieces of paper or notes on the board from your lecturer, it's definitely not going to be interesting. So I just passed through school, passed through computer science, but computer science did not pass through me, right? I passed very, very well. If you are in that same league or you know someone that's in that league, maybe you want to just affirm that, yes, actually what this guy is saying is true. Okay, you want to probably just give me a thumbs up or something so that I know that, yes, there are people that have probably experienced that lifestyle before. Now, doing my own personal stuff, running my own personal business. But then, at the time, I was running like a tutorial center, as it were. Now, there was money. I was not suffering, right? If you remember, I mentioned that I was not suffering. However, when you do things like home teaching, home lesson, and you go to client's house to teach, and you see luxury, you are like, is it this teaching, this home lesson that I want to use to live a comfortable life and have these things that these people have, right? Now, because of that, that thought kept on coming consistently whenever I go out. And you can imagine as at 2020, 2018, 2019, you'll have clients on the island. So it means that all the people I go to teach their children, they are on the island. So I moved from the mainland where I live at the time to the island, right? When I go there, I see houses, I see interior decors, I see cars, and I'm like, what kind of work do these people actually do to give them, this level of comfort in life? You see, I'm telling you my own personal story. It was at that point that I decided that computer science that I passed through, but didn't pass through me, I would have to go and pass through it again, right? So that this time around, it will pass through me. That was where I now went back, take courses, did projects, and the likes. You know why I'm saying this? I'm saying this because when I'm sharing my screen now, you would see my introduction and you would probably think it's not true, right? But it is very, very true. So let me just quickly share. This is me here, Daffy Samuel, right? And you would imagine that someone like me has 7 years of experience in the tech space. And in the tech space, because I have done quite a number of things, from web development to software to data analytics to data science. Ladies and gentlemen, this same guy is now currently the head of the data science department here at Nebient Analytics, right? And guess what? I've also worked as a consultant for top organizations like Beiersdorf Nivea in Nigeria. I also worked as a service fulfillment analyst with Nigeria foremost telecommunication company, MTN, as a service fulfillment analyst. So at the moment, what I'm doing, what I've dedicated my time to is to lead people, help people, mentor people to get into tech, right? You see, there is a saying that if you look at it, it's very, very true. Africans are very industrious. They are very, very industrious, very hardworking, and very intelligent. However, there is something that we are always missing, and that thing is the right information. So we have a lot of persons here that if you have the right knowledge, the right information, and you build the right skills, trust me, the sky is only a starting point for you. Now, why have I decided to leave the things that I have done before, working as a consultant, Basdorf Nivea, working as a service fulfillment analyst, MTN Nigeria, to come and do this? It's simply because there is a gap, especially in the tech space. And if you are someone with foresight, when you notice a gap, you want to make sure you stand in that position to fill it up. What is the gap? When you work with this kind of organizations, you notice that there are literally few or no Africans in these top organizations. And why is that so? Because we really do not have the requisite knowledge. We really do not have the requisite skill, all right, developed to help us fill up roles in this type of organization. So you either have very few Africans or you don't have at all. And that is the essence for Nabient Analytics. That is why we exist, to make sure that we fill the spaces, to ensure that we train, to ensure that we mentor Africans to a level where they are able to take up their share in the global tech space. They used to say tech is the new oil, right? Tech is the new oil. However, if you don't have the tools to drill for oil, you would most likely be around the oil environment and you don't even have one cup of it. But if you have the right equipment, you have the capital, you have everything necessary to drill for this oil, trust me, you are going to be swimming in it. So if tech is the new oil, what do you think you need? You need the right skill, you need the right information, you need the knowledge, you need the certificates, you need projects to ensure that you are in a position where you are drilling for oil. You see, the tech space, like I would always tell people, and I'm saying this now because from this point, I'm going straight into what I have for us today, right? The tech space is like football. And why? Maybe it's because I love football, because I am a football person. That's why I have looked at it. You see, in football, there is one guy, or maybe two of them currently. One of them is called Erling Haaland. The other one is called Kylian Mbappe. You see, the job of these two guys is basically to stay in a position where the ball comes to them. They don't fight for the ball. They stay in a position where the ball comes to them. When the ball comes to them, they are already, always, at all time, closer to the goal. And once the ball comes, the next thing they're doing is they're firing towards the goal and they're scoring goals. Haaland has 11 goals in just 8 matches this season. Now, look at that. If you have the skill, you have the knowledge, you have the certificate, what you have done is you have put yourself in a position where once any opportunity comes, you are in target to get that opportunity. You see, anybody without the skill, without the talent, without the knowledge, you can have everything in this world. Well, without these 2 or 3 things, you will keep firing and firing to you are running offside, you are firing outside the goal post because you are not in the right position. So what keeps you in the right position as a tech talent is the skill, the knowledge, the right information. And that's basically what I'm here to do tonight. So you see, I have over like 40 people currently on the call, and I'm sure that more people will join. But you see, this session is a success for me tonight if I'm able to help at least 10 people, transition into tech tonight. This whole story, this whole session, the whole experience I'm going to be sharing, the knowledge I'm going to be sharing with you would be a waste, okay, if you don't take action. Why? You would still be in that position where you know what to do. You probably have the information, but you don't have the skill still, and you don't have maybe the certificates. And without these 2 things, when opportunities are flying around, when they cross the ball, you're on offside. When you get the ball and you shoot, you are shooting off target. Some people have skills, but where do I apply my skill? How do I apply my skill? You don't know. So when opportunity comes, when you try to grab that opportunity, you are shooting, but you are shooting off target because you don't know where to apply it and how to go about it. So you see, my job tonight is very simple. Take 10 people along with you. Ensure that they get started in their journey in tech. You see, without doing that, without taking action with the information I'm about to share with you, tonight is going to be a waste. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready for me to get started with this session, maybe you want to share an emoji, give me a thumbs up, clap your hands, just show me that you are ready, and then I'll be moving straight to what we have for tonight. Thank you very much, Titus. Thank you, Francis, Blessing. Okay, Paul Bamidele, I believe you want to clap. Anthony Uzochi, thank you very much, guys. Okay, so let me just go straight to what I have for you. 3 basic things that we want to achieve today. Number 1 is to develop a robust sales predictive model. Number 2 is to show you how you can get started and start building the same and probably do much more, right? Number 3 is a special announcement at the end of the session for those who wait behind, and then we're also going to have a Q&A session, right? We're going to have a Q&A session, okay? Just give me a second. Now, let's quickly go straight. What is a predictive model? Remember, I said we want to develop a robust sales predictive model. What is a predictive model? I said an AI predictive model is a computer program or a system of algorithm, all right, that is trained on large data sets to learn patterns. You see, this learning of patterns is very important. It's also trained to what? To make prediction or perform tasks without human intervention. Do you get? Now, let me quickly explain that. Now, look at this. I'm talking about a computer system, first of all. From my computer system, I'm able to teach my computer system to learn. What is this guy learning? Let me give an example, right? Let me give a quick example. Let me use JAMB. You know that JAMB consists of 50 questions, math, 50 questions English, 50 questions chemistry, 50 questions physics, making a total of 200 questions. So I'll quickly reverse back to my days as a tutor. If a student is going to prepare for JAMB, the best time to start is actually in this month of October. So we would usually teach the child from October till around February or March next year when they will write the exam. Now, during this process of training, during this process of teaching, there's something we are doing constantly. It is to solve past questions, right? We are solving past questions. Now, when you solve past questions with these children, you or students rather, you are taking past questions from, like, say, 2015. When you keep solving those past questions, you solve question, you check the back. Oh, is it correct? Is it wrong? You solve the next year again, 2016, you check the back. How many did I get correctly? You solve the next year, you check the back for answers. How many did I get correctly? Why are you doing that? You are training yourself. You are learning certain patterns. So in some cases, the student is not even sure of the full question. But you know, when you have solved what is a noun, option A noun is a name of a person. Option B, a noun is a name of an animal. Option C, a noun is a naming word. You have missed it 10 times. The 10 you have missed it, you have always seen that, oh, the final answer is a noun, is a naming word. By the next time you are going to solve that question, you have a pattern. The first thing is you are looking for the question, is there anything related to noun? If there's something related to noun, that means what they're talking about is a naming word. If what they're talking about is a naming word, that means my answer is going to be a naming word. So what have you done? I may not have the full question. I may not be able to read the full question during the exam because my time is ticking. However, there is something I've seen from the question that enables me to tell what the answer is. That is what AI and predictive model is about. There is always something that is called a pattern that they notice, that they are able to pick from multiple and rigorous training, such that that pattern is what they are using in making predictions. Let me give you a typical life example. Let's imagine that on this call, where I stay currently, it's a bit hot. It's in the evening. We're in the evening, but it's a bit hot. Now, all of a sudden, I notice that, oh, the breeze starts blowing very, very strongly. There is dust everywhere, right? Maybe I'm outside and I notice a droplet from nowhere, a droplet of water. Let me put it that way. From nowhere on my body, strong breeze, the dust everywhere, begins to, is almost in commotion as it were. Now, do you want to type? Maybe you can type and tell me what you think is likely to happen next. What do you think could be the result of such happenings? Can anyone just type and tell me what you think? Anyone, just type in the comment and tell me what you think is about to happen when you experience things like God bless you. Badmo says rain. Franca says it's about to rain. You see, what you just did is a predictive model. Okweoluwa says rain. What you have done is prediction. How are you able to tell that what is about to happen next is rain? It's because you have observed a pattern. Let's imagine that the least person on this call is 19 or 20 years old. Do you know that that 20-year-old has experienced rainfall for 19 years? That 19 years is called historical data. Is our jump pass question that you have solved repeatedly and you have seen or noticed different patterns. So it means that for 19 years, somebody has been able to experience that, oh, when the breeze starts blowing this way and there is a droplet, the next thing that is about to happen is rainfall. That is a pattern. You don't need anybody to tell you. Once the breeze starts blowing in a certain kind of way and there is a droplet, the next thing that is about to happen is rainfall. So anytime, wherever you are, you might have moved from Lagos to Abuja. Once you experience that pattern, you see breeze, you see droplets, the next thing that comes to your mind is rain. Why? Because you have been able to learn and then you are now able to make predictions. Do you get? So when we teach our system to learn these kinds of pattern and the system is able to make predictions, what you have built is a predictive model. And this thing can be used everywhere, right? So let me just move on. How do we develop a predictive model? Mind you, I need to also quickly mention that there is a need for you to fill an attendance form that is being posted by my colleague on the call, right? Posted by my colleague on the call. So what you want to do is quickly go to the chat. You would see a link to an attendance. You would see a link to an attendance. Please fill in the form. Why are you filling it? It's very simple. Number one is because we would want to share this recording with you at the end of the session. This class or this session is recorded at the moment. So we want to share the recording with you. Secondly, you would also get access to this slide that I'm using, right? You would get access to this slide that I am using. So if you want to have a recording of this session and also this slide, please make sure to rush to the chat section and click the link to fill the attendance. The recording and slide would only be sent to those whose details we have, after this session. So please don't miss out on that. Now, let's proceed. How to build a predictive model. All right, how to build a predictive model. First of all, is to train the data. How do you train? I mean, it's typically the same way you train a child. Oh, if you pee, I will beat you, right? If you steal, you get punished. If you lie, you get punished. Say the truth, and the truth will set you free. Say the truth and let the devil be ashamed. You keep saying this thing to the child repeatedly. What you're doing is what you are training, right? So it means that from my historical data, if my company starts today, or let's say my company has started from 2009, till today. I carry that data. I give it to my system. My system needs to start what? Start training on that data. Now, by the time the guy is training, just like my JAM students that will be solving past questions from 2015 to 2016 to 2017 and the likes, why is he doing that repeatedly? It's so that he is able to recognize patterns. Oh, in this year, they solved in mathematics 2 simultaneous equations, 3 quadratic equations out of 50 questions, 4 algebra, 6 trigonometry, and the likes. Check the next year again. 2 simultaneous equations, 3 quadratic equations, 4 algebra, 6 trigonometric questions. Check the next year again. So it means that the child already knows that by the time I'm preparing for my exam, at least I should be preparing for 2 or 3 simultaneous equations, 4 algebra, 6 or 7 trigonometry, maybe 8 or 7 word problems. What have you been able to do? You have been able to collect historical data. From that historical data, you are able to see the patterns in that data and you learn that pattern. So when you learn that pattern, what's the next thing? After learning is what? Adaptation. So you are used to it. For football fans, for example, you played, let's imagine that we are in the Premier League. You played a team like Everton, all right? First time, they played defensive, low block. They packed the boss. Second time you played them, defensive, low block, they pack boss. Third time, defensive, low block, they pack boss. What is that? It tells you that there's a pattern for you to learn. So that the next time you are going to play them, you are able to adapt your team and the tactics to that pattern that you have learned. So you see that this whole AI thing, this whole predictive model, big English prediction model, AI, it is something that you do on a daily basis. The problem is you don't know. Please, if you agree with me, give me a thumbs up. If you agree with me, give me a thumbs up. With all my illustrations, it's something that you do on a daily basis. The problem is you don't know that that's what you are doing. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well done, guys. I can see the reactions coming in. And if you are listening and you are following this session, you can do more, please. Right? So it is something that you do on a daily basis. Let's imagine that I am Oga, all right? I hire a chef in my house. The first time the person cooks, I said, no, the pepper is too much. The second time, the salt is too much, reduce it. The third time, kindly add a little bit of oil. By the time the person cooks for me for 1 month, he is able to learn and adapt to my needs. So the next time I'm saying, prepare jollof rice, there is a prediction already of what he is expected to prepare. I don't need to tell him anything anymore. He already knows. So that's why when you use the likes of ChatGPT, you ask a question, the guy gives you the response, and you're like, wow, how come? It's very simple. Somebody has supplied data. Somebody has trained that data. The AI model is able to learn patterns from the data that has been supplied. From that, because the guy has learned, he's able to adapt. Then what is happening next? Because the guy has been able to adapt, he's now predicting future things. So typical use, everybody here uses Instagram, I think, or at least 90% of people on this call use Instagram. Do you know that if you are on Instagram and you like, let's say, Chef Chioma's post, you commented, wow, what a wonderful delicacy. Do you know if you shut that Instagram app, the next time you are opening it, the first thing you will see is Chef Chioma. After Chef Chioma, you will now see Chef Hilda Bassi. After Chef Hilda Bassi, you'll probably see something like maybe Maggie advert in your feed. Why do you think all these things are coming up? It's because you have liked and commented on a post, right? Because you have liked and commented on a post, there is an algorithm that runs behind that say, oh, if this guy likes Chef Chioma, there is a possibility that he would also like Chef Hilda Bassi. All right. So for football lovers, you love EPL. You comment on, oh, Man U defeated Liverpool. What a wonderful win. Let's go, boys. 3 points in the bag. Let's teach them some lesson, right? By the time you shut that app and open it the next time, there's a prediction, there is a suggestion to you about maybe La Liga. There's a suggestion to you about Champions League. What has happened? Data has been supplied from your interaction. The machine, the algorithm behind, has learned something from your interactions. From learning the patterns and the things that you interact with, the guy is able to adapt and adjust content based on that pattern that they have recognized. Now, the next time you're opening the app, they are now choosing for you. That's where prediction comes in. To say, okay, if he likes Chelsea, he's most likely going to like Arsenal as well. Now, at the end of the day, the whole purpose of this entire exercise is so that an organization is able to make decisions. If you are enjoying the class to this point, please, I want you to interact with me. Give me a thumbs up or something. I need to be sure that you are really, really following the session. I need to be sure that you are following. Fantastic. Well done, guys. Well done, guys. So let me also clap for you, at least for everybody that has reacted so far. So the essence of all these other 4 steps is so that decisions can be made. What are the decisions? Question 1, if I'm the Instagram owner, what kind of content should we push to this person's page? A decision has to be made. Why? Because if you love football and they are sharing something about travel to you, you are not interested. You would not use the app anymore. You probably move to TikTok where you can get more football content. So a decision has to be made. Secondly, we want to check also, the rate of usage. By how much or how long does this guy spend on this thing? Can we make him spend more time because it will generate more money for us? So if the algorithm has learned how you behave on the app, they will start giving you more of that thing to keep you there for long. So that's why some of you start using Instagram by, let's say, 7 a.m. The next time you're checking your time is 12 already. You did not know. Honestly, you did not know. But somebody behind an algorithm knows. Why? Because they forced you to stay there by pushing content there. Why? Because if they don't push those contents your way, you will not use the app. So let's imagine that we work with Pepsi or Coca-Cola. No, let's say Netflix. Right? If you work with Netflix and you discover that this guy subscribed in January, in February he did not subscribe. Is this guy planning to run away? Maybe he's already seeing free YouTube videos to watch, so he doesn't want to come back to Netflix. You will now see that the next month they will do promo, 50% off. Why do you think the promo came up? It's because they noticed that, oh, you subscribed for like the past 3 months. Then all of a sudden you did not subscribe. The first thing is they'll call you, they'll send a mail. The next thing, they will give you promo. Why? Decisions have to be made based on your behavior. So the end goal of every predictive model is to take action. Decision has to be made. That's our rain example. Let's imagine that after you notice that, oh, whenever the breeze blows this way, whenever the wind this, the weather is this and that, rain is about to fall. Imagine that you had your Christmas clothes outside, or that very nice Nike shoe outside. What's the next decision you are making? Quickly run and pick it, take it inside. So when you predict that rain is about to fall, the essence is so that you can make a decision. Oh, am I going out with an umbrella today? Let me take the umbrella. Did I wash my clothes outside? Should I call someone to help me pack it inside? Decision must be made. Let's quickly progress. Now, so in the bid to train your data, the first thing is that data must be supplied, right? So that's why I said import the data set. All right, so the first thing is to import the data set. Now, so there's something I'm going to do, all right, in conjunction to this, so that it doesn't look, one thing I'll do to those, or I will do for those, let me not say two, for those that fill the attendance form, is that the codes that I have written for this session, I would also be sharing alongside the video and this slide. All right, so the codes as well will be shared to you. So if you want to have a copy of the code, you want to also make sure that you run to the chat section, check it out, fill the form so you get access to these materials, right? So that you get access to these materials. Okay, Caleb, please confirm that you are available. Hi, Caleb, are you on the call? All right, good. So I supply my data set. Now, when I supply my data, the next thing I'm doing is called quick summary of the data. Why am I doing quick summary? It's because I want to see, I want to have a knowledge of what the data is about. Maybe I should quickly just share something with you. Okay, this works perfectly. So let me just drag this in. Okay, so what am I trying to talk about? The first thing I mentioned is to supply the data, right? Import the data set and quick statistics. This is where I imported the data. This is where I did my quick check data df.head. This df.head, right, helps me to see the first 5 rows of my data. Then df.tail in Python. What I'm writing, everything you are saying is based on Python programming, right? df.tail helps me to view the bottom 5. So head is for top 5, tail is for bottom 5. Then .shape helps me to know the total number of rows in my data. So here it's saying that I have 15,000 rows in this data, which means this company has kept record 15,000 times. And the number of columns I have, if I count from here, loan ID, right, credit score, age, I'm Shola Boyega, the same place where you are chatting is where the link is. So you want to probably scroll up a bit, you would see the link. All right, the same place where you typed the message, that's where the link is. So it's saying that by the time I count all these columns one after the other, everything is 33. And then the number of rows, of course, starts from, if you check it, starts from 0 and it ends at 14,999, which is 1 to 15,000. So 15,000 rows and 33 columns. Now, why am I doing this? Because by the time I want to train my computer, my model, I want to know what exactly I have. What am I training on? Right? I want to know what exactly I am training on. So I'm checking everything in my data, loan ID, this particular column. How many do I have? I have 1,000 and it is non-null. Okay. I have credit score, for example, is 15,000 and there is non-null. Non-null means nothing is empty. All right, guys. So please let's welcome Caleb. Let's welcome Caleb to these sessions. Let's welcome Caleb to the session. Caleb is also another fantastic data scientist. All right, another very, very fantastic data scientist. Okay, you need access to the data set. Somebody asked that question. A team. All right. So you are stretching me now. I wanted to give you video and slide. I decided to add codes. Now you are asking for data sets. No problem. I will take. All right, we would add that. So Caleb, please confirm that you are able to share your screen at this point so we can quickly run through the project with them and move to the next phase. I don't want us to waste too much time. Please confirm that you can share your screen. Just a thumbs up will do. Okay, great. So Caleb would be walking us through the process. All right, just basically 4 things: import the data set, explore the data set, build the model, and check for the final outcome. Okay, so Caleb, please, let's have you in that regard.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you, Dafe. Thank you for all you have said. And I think I don't need to say more because I think that he has covered all. Okay, he has given a very, very good analysis, a very, very good importance of being in the tech space and the importance of also doing predictive analysis. Okay, so like he told you, when you are hearing AI, It's all those things that he has been speaking to you about. All those messages that he sent to your email that he throws into the junk, that you see in junks, that you see in spam, is actually an algorithm that we create, okay? Your loan applications that they either reject or accept is actually an algorithm, okay? So I don't need to, your recommendation engine, like you said, when you go to a website, you click on something that they give you something similar. How many of us have seen that thing in Jumia and Konga? He has said it. You've seen it in Jumia and Konga. You click on a particular item, and it brings a similar item. Yes, so it's actually also part of what we call is part of data science in general. So let me quickly run you through this. So now, like you said before, now in Python we have what we call libraries. Okay, they are like the tools. You know, you can be a mechanic, and when you go to your shop, you just want to go and use your hand to work on cars. It's not possible. Okay, you have to have tools that you're going to use. The spanner, the screwdrivers, the machine, whatever you want to use, you have to have tools. Okay, so these are the tools we are going to be using to work with this our data. It's actually what we call a structured data. Okay, so here we load in our data using a particular tool in the Python programming language that we call pandas. So tools here are called library. Okay, so it is what it is called pandas. Okay, so that's what we are going to use to upload our data. So our data is actually a CSV file. When you open it, it looks like an Excel file. When you open it in Excel, you see it in rows and columns. Okay, so you can see that same file here in rows and columns. So if you can see this file, please give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. You can see it. You can see the columns. You can see the rows. Give me a thumbs up. Okay. So this is the first thing, importing the data set like that we said. Then the next thing, you are going to do a basic summary. Okay. You want to check information concerning your data, because even if you are going to use this thing to make any prediction, you have to have an idea of how the data work. Are there missing values there? Which one of them are text? Which one of them are numbers? Because then looking at it here, you can see some of them are text from here, some of them are numbers. You understand? In fact, some can also they can contain what we call Boolean. Now, Boolean are basically what we call truth values. It's just the statement true or false. Okay. So, but in this one, we have numbers and text. Okay. Now, numbers can be called two things. One, if it's a whole number, it has no decimal, it can be called integers. If it has a decimal, we call it float. And if you come here, you see things like float 64 here. Okay, float 64 is just a number with a decimal like 0.5. You will see it here. You can see all those 0.0.0. They actually float. And somewhere you will see integer here. Integer. So basically, this is a summary of your data. What does this contain? This integer, look at it. Look at it. Is actually the outlet establishment here. And if I go back, you can see it. It is just number. 1999, 2009, 1999. That is what you are seeing here. So this is a basic summary of your data. It is very, very important so that you can understand how your data looks like. That's what all data science is. This is one of the things. This is one thing that we do first. Then after then, now that's not even all. This is also one of the things we do. We check we do a statistical analysis of our data. A statistical analysis of our data. So this describes what it does, that it gives a statistical analysis of the numeric data that we have here. Okay. Although I can make it include the text data. Okay. But the numeric data are some of the things we target with things like mean. How many of us know what the word mean means? It means what? Average. When you hear mean anywhere, it means average. If 10 people is earning 50,000 naira, the average of them is that the number of salaries of those 10 people divided by the number of those people. That is what average. That is average. That's what mean means. We have standard deviation. We have the minimum value. We have the, we call this the 25th percentile or the first quartile. We call this the 50th percentile. This is also the median. This 50, you know that out of the 0 to 100, we have 50 is the middle point, right? Everybody, 50 is the midpoint. True or false? Thumbs up, or thumbs down. 50 is the midpoint. Yes. You can see. Yes. So 50 is the midpoint. That midpoint is what you call median. And most times, this midpoint value is very close to the, it's usually similar to the average. And that's why in statistics, for those that have done mathematics, you'd have something that they call measure of central tendency. You heard of mean median mode. Okay, so the mean and the median are usually very close to each other in terms of value. Look at this second one, 0.05. The next one is 0.06. You are not seeing the data display. How many of us can see my screen? Give me a thumbs up. You can see my screen, give me a thumbs up. Okay, so probably your network, if you are not seeing the display. So these are all these are mean. This is the mean. The 50th percentile, that is the middle, which is 50%, is the median, and we have the maximum value. You can see maximum value. All these are giving you a summary, an idea of what to expect. Okay, so after that, there are basic things we do. We call it exploratory data analysis. This thing that you're looking at involves you going through your data, studying your data, looking at what you need to add, what you need to remove, checking everything in the data. And this is a typical example. I'm doing what we call an histogram. Now, basically, what does this histogram, what does it do? What does histogram do? Histogram helps you to check the spread of your data. How spread is your data? Where are most of the values concentrated? That gives you an idea of what to go ahead to do with your data. This one, most of the data are concentrated somewhere between 5 and 25, or let me say 22. If you look at this one, most of the data are to the left-hand side. This around is something like you say it is skewed to the left-hand side. That is, majority of the value are in this lower section. Okay, so we do a lot of that. We continue with that, and we do it for every every data. Okay, every column. Okay, so now what we also do in this exploratory data analysis is that we check for missing values, because in true sense, if you give questionnaires to people, we most times, for those that have given questions, now what is a questionnaire? Something that you write questions and you want people to just maybe tick answers and fill in answers for you. Now, most times when you do that, or even if you are filling in a form voluntarily, how many of us usually skip some parts? Maybe you don't want them to know a particular information, or you don't have an idea of it. How many of us usually skip some parts? When you are giving something to fill and it is not, maybe it's not compulsory, you feel it, something that they put is optional. How many of us, a lot of us do it. We do it a lot. Middle name, how many of us do it? Middle name that they will say optional and you will leave it out. Yes. So when you also, this data that they are collecting from you, most of this data, you see missing values there. Okay? You see what you call what? Missing values there. So part of this, your exploratory data analysis, you have to know how you are going to deal with these missing values. Okay? You have to know how you're going to deal with what? These missing values. It's very, very important. Okay? So sometimes, how do we deal with some of these missing values? Sometimes, if it's numeric, like my item weight, because if I go back, my item weight is numeric. Look at item weight, numeric. Most times I just fill the missing value with the median or the mean. And that's what you see here, the median or the mean. I filled it with the median. That's why you see this word median. Okay? Now, the other one that is missing again, 2000, that has 2,410 rows missing. If you go to that outlet size, most times we notice that outlet size, it is what? It is a text value. Outlet type. Look at it. It is a what? It is a text value. So now, what do I do? I go and look for the mode. Although there are other ways you can still fill it, but I can go and look for the mode and fill it with the most occurring. Now, what does that mean? If I have 10 people, and out of 10 of them, 8 of them came from Lagos, 1 of them came from Abuja, 1 of them we don't know where it comes from. You can tell me that you are going to assume that that person is also coming from Lagos. True or false, guys? If out of 10 people, 8 people came from Lagos, 1 person came from Abuja, and there is 1 person that you don't know where it's coming from, you can safely assume that the person is also coming from Lagos. True or false, guys? Thumbs up. Give me thumbs. Let me know if you can assume that, right? Yes. So that one that is occurring most, that is that Lagos that occur 8 times, is what we call the mode. So we can replace that missing value with the mode, and that is what we did here. That is part of exploratory data analysis. Now, what else do we do? Again, in this part, we want to check how does each what's his name? How does each columns, out of each columns, how do they affect one another? Okay, and this is what we call a correlation matrix. It's still part of our EDA. It's part of what we call a correlation matrix. With this one, because what we want to predict, actually is sales. The name of the Mart is BIM Mart. What we want to predict is the sales. So we are going to look at how does this thing relate to sales. Okay, the higher the value, the closer the value is to -1 or +1, the stronger that particular this thing affects. And look at it. Look at this one. Item visibility. You can tell me, I can tell you for fun that the more visible an item is, if you place an item in front always, most times it affects the sales. True or false, guys? It affects sales. When people always see an item, they tend to be able to know, whenever they need that item, they know that they have to go and buy it. Do you agree with me, guys? Do you agree with me? You understand? So if you look at, so another thing we can also look at is the outlet type. The outlet type. Now, sometimes, a lot of people will want to buy things in supermarkets. Some people might just, if you see somewhere that they just pour it on the ground, you'll be skeptical about the originality of what they are putting there. You'll be skeptical. So all those kind of things also affect the way it affects sales. The way you package, like what we say in this thing, packaging is life, right? If you don't package your this thing very well, will people buy it? You don't package your goods that you are selling very well, will people buy it? Will people buy it, guys? You don't package what you are selling properly, will people buy it? And that is where something like outlet types coming. Outlet types coming. So from there, we now go to splitting data. Now, don't forget, I told you that this sales is what we want to predict. So I have to remove the sales. Every other thing will be there. What I want to use to predict the sales will be there. The sales that I want to predict will also be on one end. Okay? So that is where I divide it into 2. I take out the sales from the old data and I leave the rest of the data. So this one is the rest of the data. This is the sales. So I am splitting the data. Okay? I am splitting. Okay? We actually call it data versioning. So I am splitting the data. I am splitting the data. So also, I also split the data into what I will use to what I will use to train my algorithm, because the algorithm that my colleague Samuel has been talking about since. You've been hearing algorithm. That algorithm needs to be trained with something. Because remember I told you, he said over the years, like in the weather situation, over the years, because you have been noticing that when the breeze blows in a particular way, it wants to rain. That means you have trained yourself to understand that when you see a particular type of cloud, or when the breeze starts to blow in a particular way, you know that what? It is about to rain, or the chances. Because sometimes when the breeze blows like that, it will not rain. It might not even rain at all. but you know that there is a higher chance of it raining. Why? Because you have trained yourself over time. So also the same way here, we are going to train that model. Those algorithms that you hear about, all those algorithms that help you predict things, all those algorithms that help you filter emails. That's when you go to your email, you see some things in junks, and truly there will be junks. It might be scammed. Okay, so those things, those algorithms, you need to train them. So that is where we are going to split it into the training and the test. Then what is the next thing we are going to do? We are going to what? Impute our models. So I'm using 3 models here: linear regression, decision tree regressor, and random forest. So I'm using 3 models. There are several types of models. There are a lot of models. And I need what I'm going to use to evaluate them. So I'm going to train the model and make predictions. I'm going to get the accuracy of my model. Now, for this linear regression, I have a 51% accuracy on the trading and a 50% accuracy on the test. That is, what does that mean? That means if it predicts 10 things, out of those 10, 5 will be correct. Now, if I go to the next one, decision tree, there's an issue with this one. The model was trained perfectly, but the model is making wrong prediction. Because if you look at this, you will see 17%. 17%, 0.176. That's the R2 score. That is, it shows how well the model performs. Okay, so all these things are what we use. Then I think the last but not the least was the second one, and what is third one, random forest. 93%. That is, the model trained very well, and it's giving me 56%. And this is the way I evaluate. Because normally I'm checking, okay, the prediction he has made and what I have predicted and the actual value, are they similar? If they are similar, I'm going to see a straight line. Okay, so the more they move to this spot, the more they do it. So that is how you make that, you predict. Then after that prediction, after we have done that prediction, we take one of them, we use it to build, to deploy, because we want to deploy that model. Now I want to test that model. We want to test it. So we build a deployment algorithm. We will create what we call a function that will make that prediction for you. So at the end of the day, when it does that, we now build the interface. This is the interface. You might not understand the whole of this code, but this is the interface. At the end of the day, this interface, it gives me this, where I can now make my prediction. Now, if I click on this, it takes me to a new page where I can still see that same interface. I'm just trying to, where you can view the whole interface. And what am I going to do now? I'm going to enter values into that interface so that what I can make predictions. So that is what we are going to be doing. It is loading the interface. So this is the interface. Okay. So you can see I've set it item weight. So let's say my item is 12 kilograms. Let me say is a regular fat item. Item visibility. So let me just set that as maybe 0.05. Item type diary. The MRP, let me say 2. The outlet size, let me say I. Outlet location type, let me say tier 3. Is a supermarket, let me say type 2. And let me leave it as this identifier. Okay. Establishment here, let me put maybe the year 2000, because most times the longer that outlet has been around, the more people are used to it. So if I click on get sales classification, it's going to predict a price. And look at it. Predicted sales amount, $101.78. So this is just an idea. Now with this is now what they move. This is what they will move into applications. This is what they move into websites. This is what the company used to what? Solve problems. So this is what they will be expecting for what? For an item that looks like that, okay? For an items that have all these, what's his name? All these, what do we call it, characteristics, okay? What kind of fat item is there? There was the percentage visibility. what is the item type? Is it a diary? Is it fruit and vegetable? If it, outlet. So we look at all these things. So if I do this again, I get sales classification again, it will be changing these values with time. Okay. So that is what we do. That's what you see in predictive analysis. Okay. So this is just a taster of how it works. This, you can see, this looks like a full-blown what? A full website on its own. Okay. So with what we have done, we can still improve on the accuracy, but just to show you how this works. Okay. So there are still a lot of more work that is being put behind this and to make all of this better. So that is what you stand to gain. That is what you stand to learn as you move forward in that journey. Daffy, over to you. That Samuel, thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you very much, Caleb. Thank you very much, guys. If you enjoyed that presentation, please just react to it, clap, give a thumbs up, celebrate with a flower, something, pop champagne, and the likes. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. I can see the reactions coming in. Very, very wonderful presentation from start to finish. So maybe I would start from where I stopped. If you want to have access to these things, right, all you need to do is fill the attendance form. However, I must remind you that even if you have access to the code, you have access to the demo websites that you can share, it doesn't make you a data scientist, right? It doesn't make you a data scientist. Okay, you would have access to the slides, to the videos. You can go through everything again from scratch to finish, but still, it doesn't make you a data scientist. So what exactly makes you a data scientist? I'm quickly going to be sharing that with you. What exactly makes you a data scientist, right? But you see, before I get to that point, I want to just quickly look at 2 or 3 things before we get there. Now, so the first thing is this whole data thing, data science, data this, data that. What is the essence? What is the essence, right? Having this knowledge. You see, it's very, 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 very important. Now, look at what I have here. I have a statistic, and it says the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs for 2025, which is a current report. It states that by 2030, the demand for data analysts, data scientists, data engineers, BI analysts, which is business intelligence analysts, business analysts, and other big data and database professionals will grow by what? 30 to 35%. So it means that you see someone like me, right? I might not look like, I might not have chubby cheeks yet. I'm already making my own small money. But it's saying that by 2030, the demand for people with my skill set, the demand for people with the skill set like Caleb, right, will rise by 30 to 35%. So it means that now, if I'm still on one job, I am likely to get at least 2 jobs or more if people like you decide to stay back without getting into the space. Why? Because the demand will increase, and it is only the professionals with the skill, the professionals with the needed projects, like what Caleb just shared, the professionals with the needed experience are the ones that will get the jobs. So if you ask me, data analytics, data science, and business analysis are the 3 places to start to position yourself, just like Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe, to get these opportunities when they come. Look at Esther here. Esther is a student, or was rather a student, currently an alumni of Nebient Analytics. You see, she studied nursing and finished from the School of Nursing. What happened next is that Esther knew that being a nurse is good, but if you are not in the UK, if you are not in the US, if you are not in Canada, if you are doing your nursing in Nigeria, the most you would get would not see, you might even make money, but it won't put you in a position of influence, a position of power, a position of authority. Why am I saying so? Can you imagine the project that Caleb just showcased, the price prediction model? If Caleb is going to discuss the impact of that model, do you think he is going to be talking about that model to just low level or medium level staff of an organization? The answer is no. He's going to be sharing that insight, he's going to be sharing that model, all right, that project with top level executives of organizations. Why? Because remember, we said in the beginning that the essence of building these predictive models is for decision making. And who makes the decisions? Top level executives. So if I am just, let's say, for example, like Esther, if I'm a nurse, I'm most likely going to be dealing with doctor, I'm most likely going to be dealing with fellow nurses, patients, and the likes. But I have a project that is likely to change the direction of a company, right? What that means is that the person who is interested in listening to me not just one of such that, just like Esther, you really want more from yourself. You know you can deliver. You know you have a lot to bring to the table. What you can do, just like Esther did, she joined the Navient Analytics Data Analytics program in the month of February. And 3 months later, which is in May of this year, she landed a role as an analyst working hybrid at what? At Prower. You see, this is a testimony, and it's only a good testimony because the person involved was willing to share, right? If she joined the program and she didn't get this, definitely there will be no testimonials for me to also share with others, right? Here I have Naomi. Naomi, a very, very special case. Worked as an Anglophone, which means a Nigerian English speaking, but works in a Francophone company. They speak French. She doesn't really understand. And they are almost at the point of relegating her, pushing her by the side because of, maybe color or language differences. What happened? She joined Navient early this year to study or to learn business analysis. Guess what? Why I love this story is because what she did was very unique. Instead of her, to start searching for jobs, she did not apply. All she did was she kept on posting updates as a business analyst where on LinkedIn. It was via these updates that her company noticed what she has been doing. And from there, what they did basically, when they noticed that, oh, this person has upgraded her skill, right, and is likely to be stolen by another company if they notice these same things that she has been posting on LinkedIn, what they did was very simple. They offered to create a new department for her, and then they made her the head of that department. So unique story, and it goes on and on. Like I said, you can get the material, you can get the slide, and you can go through everything. Now, why am I advising, why am I projecting, for you to learn data analytics, business analysis, or data science? Number one is because it's easy to learn. Okay. Number two, it's easy to transition. Just like Esther, from nursing to becoming a data analyst, you can quickly move, right? The window is open. The window is very much open, all right? Number three is great salary projections. So, Charles, if you want to get the materials, all you need to do is fill the form, all right? Now, so this is for you to decide which tech part you will choose, whether data analytics, business analysis, or data science. All right. Now, so as a data analyst, let me quickly walk you through this. As a data analyst, what are you going to learn? Microsoft Excel, very key and very essential. Right. Then You would learn SQL. Okay, good. So if you have filled the form, you'll get an email after the session, either tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. You'll get an email with the material. Okay, now you learn SQL for databases, you learn Power BI, okay, you learn Tableau, you learn Looker Studio, and then AI for data analytics, which means how to make use of AI. You know, most of us, we are scared that, oh, AI will take our jobs. Instead, AI is actually to support and make us much more productive and efficient. So we're going to be teaching you all of these things. And guess what? Look at it. Salary projections on the average is around 62 to 100,000 annually. Now, remember, if you are learning data analytics, well, I would say for people who would probably feel like, all those codes that Caleb just showed us, me, I don't have time to start learning code. Code is not my thing. Coding will not work for me. You can start at what? Data analytics. For those that feel like, oh, coding is what I want to do, all right, with my full chest, I'm willing to learn coding, then you can do data science. In data science, you will still learn data analytics. You will still learn Microsoft Excel. You will still learn SQL for database. You will still learn Tableau. Then you will learn what? Python. All right. You will learn Python. Then you will learn GitHub for version control and collaboration. GitHub for version control and collaboration. Then also AI for data science. Now, compare the salary projections. We're looking at 91,000 to what? 141,000 annually. Okay, I'm going to come to your question. Remember, we have a session for question and answer. So I'll be starting with your question, right? Then the final one is business analysis. Truth be told, business analysis is more of like an administrational role. Okay, it combines the skills of a data analyst and a project manager, as well as a business analyst. So it's more like a managerial and administrative role. That's why if you check, salary projection is around what? 97 to $169 annually. What are you going to learn? Microsoft Excel. Of course, I mentioned data analysis and project management combined together. All right, you're going to learn SQL, you learn Power BI, you learn Microsoft Azure Studio, right? You learn how to use Jira boards, okay? And you will learn how to use Draw.io as well as AI for business analysis. Now, these are the tools you are going to learn to put you in a position where once opportunity comes, you stand at a good position. You see, from my experience, and I'm going to tell you this for free, from my experience, both as a data analyst, especially as a data analyst, because I was once a data analyst before I moved into data science. Over 60% of the jobs I've done is usually between this Microsoft Excel and what? SQL. But you see, job descriptions during application, you would see must be able to do this, must be able to do this, must be able to do Power BI, Tableau, and must be able to write code and all of them. The reason for that is because they most likely want to cut out people who do not have this skill. Meanwhile, when you get on the job, what you are really doing is Microsoft Excel in most cases. So you see, there is a need for you to have full knowledge of these things going into the company or into the industry. Some jobs, you will not use Microsoft Excel at all. You'll be dealing with Power BI. You are a BI analyst. Some jobs, you are dealing with SQL. As a data scientist, some jobs will require you to learn Tableau, require you to learn SQL, and learn Microsoft Excel. However, when you get on the job, the only thing you are doing is actually Python. But like I said, positioning matters. How is that? If you have all of these skills, you stand at a better position to land jobs easily. Right? Now, why or what do you need to become one? Like I've said, you need to start learning. skills matter, knowledge matters, the certificate matters. When you are done learning, the next thing you need to do is what? Brand yourself. We're in the age, or we're in the time when branding is everything. You need to what? Brand yourself. Then you also need to what? Apply to jobs. You need to apply to jobs. Now, here are some of the things that Esther did. She started learning, of course, with Nabiant Analytics. Then she started with what? Branding, tailoring a CV. Okay, I was speaking with some people recently, and I said, see, I did a test recently. I, how do I put it now? Readjusted my CV, remodeled my CV, and I applied to a job. Guess what? I applied on a Wednesday. On Thursday, I got invite for interview, right? And this CV I'm talking about is the same CV that Nabiant Analytics will be sharing with you when you join the program. And I just did it as a test that, okay, let me even check it, right? I applied on Wednesday. On Thursday, I got invite for interview. And if I'm being precise, on the 1st of October this month, Independence Day, a public holiday, I applied. The following day, Thursday, when they were resuming to office, I got invite for interview. Right? Now, what am I saying? These are some of the things that you use in branding yourself. Why? There are talents out there, but branding puts you in a better position, all right, than the others. And of course, just like me, Esther applied and she got what? An offer in May 2025. We have other stories. This is Oluwaseun, and we have multiple other persons that have joined the program over the years and have gotten, the worth for their money. And when I mean the worth for their money, what did they get? First of all, lifetime interview preparation, which means every of our students, whether you are still in the program or you have graduated from the program, you have collected your certificate. We don't just say bye-bye to you. Anytime you have an interview from any company, 1 year after your program, maybe you are done 1 year after, 2 years after, you can always come back to say, oh, you know what? I feel like I'm not well prepared for this job role. Can you please, prepare me, give me like an interview preparation session? We will create a meeting with you. Okay, around this time tomorrow, I'll be having an interview preparation session with a student who got an interview as a data scientist, for an organization. We'll be having that preparation session tomorrow. I'll be asking him typical data science questions for interviews, listen to his response, then give him, better ways to approach such questions when they come up during the interview. You're going to have lifetime access to all your training material. So imagine that after this call, we're giving you access to the material I am using. We're giving you access to the codes. We're giving you access to everything, the video. The same way it's going to happen during the training. Every of the training materials will be sent directly to you and you have access to them for life. Okay? Now, another thing that we've noticed over time, based on experience in the industry, is that when you're moving from one company to the other, they require letters of recommendation. And Nabiant Analytics is open to giving you recommendation letter. In fact, from the moment you step foot into the Nabiant Analytics program, you are not just a student. We see you as a part of the organization. So we usually advise our students to even place that, at Nabiant Analytics, where they worked as an intern or as a consultant, they were able to complete X, Y, and Z projects. Then, of course, for our alumni, they go through mentorship sessions on a weekly basis. Now, the training is a 4-month journey in total, whether you want to learn data analytics, business analysis, or data science. 4 months. And for that 4 months, you are learning everything in 3 months, and you are going to be in a 1-month internship program with us. So 3 months to learn, 1 month for internship. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Your classes are always on Saturdays. You see the way I have taking you through the definition of AI, the applications of AI, and then Caleb came back on board to walk you through a complete end-to-end project. That is how the classes are every Saturday. 11 a.m. the class starts to 12:30 a.m. You go on a 15-minute break from 12:30 to 12:45, and then the second session of that day will commence from 12:45 till 2 p.m. And the same way I have led you through this session, that's how your instructor would also lead you. And it's always project based, which means the way today's session is based on a project, every class is also based on a project. And this one is not just telling you or showing you. You will be doing it live and direct with your instructor. Press X plus Y equals to Z on your laptop. You will do it. He will wait for you. He would see the output. You would also see the output. Right? Now, on Sundays, we usually release what is called self-paced DID videos. What is this? This is basically a pre-recorded video for our classes, which means if Caleb, for example, is going to teach you exploratory data analysis in Python today, on Saturday, from Sunday, the recorded video that is ready in our database will share to the students. Go and watch it. Get used to the terminologies. There is, in fact, a project there that you can also do to prepare you ahead of Saturday. So from Sunday to Friday, you watch the DID videos. Then on Saturday, with the instructor, another class with the instructor where he walks you through the project step by step. Now, the question is, oh, I watch videos from Sunday to Friday. On Saturday, I have my facilitator lead me in a project. What if I have a question? What would I do? Well, the good news is that we have every week a particular day dedicated for support. All right, that day is Tuesdays, and that session is called TSS, Technical Support Sessions. You see, what we do there is, during the video, I was watching the DID video, and the instructor said I should press enter, but I can't find enter on my keyboard. Come to Technical Support Session, you would get all questions answered. Guess what? Another layer to these support sessions is that you have a personal support staff attached to you as a student in the program. What's the job of this support staff? To always for you to reach out to whenever you have questions. So, I have these questions. When I was watching the video, the answer was 150. When I did my own, my final answer is 375. How or what did I do wrong? The support staff reaches out to you, provides solutions. If it is something that requires the attention of your facilitator, the support staff reaches out to your facilitator, they book a meeting with you, and proper explanation will be done. So these are our layers of support, all right, just to ensure that your 3 months is worth the time, is worth the energy, is worth the resources that is going to be, invested in it. Then finally, our mentorship session holds every Thursday. Here we're discussing a wide variety of topics. We're looking at how to approach interview, how to communicate, especially when you're working remotely, how to handle feedbacks, how to give feedback, which kind of job should you apply to, where should you look for jobs, different things as it relates to tech, landing a job, employability, status, and the likes. We are dealing with all of this, bringing on board tech professionals from all walk of life, all right, during these mentorship sessions. Okay, so these are the things that you get to enjoy. But guess what? Remember that I also mentioned that outside all of this, when you are done with the training, you still have lifetime interview preparation sessions. You have lifetime mentorship sessions for all alumni. and other benefits. Please, if you are with me and you're following me up until this point, you want to quickly give me a thumbs up so that I'm sure that we are still in the meeting together. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Amao B. Thank you, Charles. Okay, well done, guys. Well done. All right. Well done, Etim, Ireti. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. All right, so let's quickly move to another interesting part. This is what our learning platform looks like. We have two of them. First of all, we have the Google Classroom, okay, the generic Google Classroom for everybody where videos and materials will be posted. Then we have also the LMS, the Learning Management System. This is where all the preparatory videos and other materials would also be included. So you watch your videos here. If the instructor is sharing a PDF file, a data set, or something, this is where you are going to get it. Okay, so we use both of them in collaboration during the program. So, I mean, everything is packed and ready for you. For those that have filled the form, you would always find the course brochure here. Course brochure, I mean the things that you are going to be learning. So, oh, I'm interested in learning data science. What are the things they will teach me? You'll find it on this link. I'm interested in learning business analysis or data analytics. What are the things they will teach me? You will find it here. But then, of course, remember that you need to fill the feedback form, the attendance form rather, for this session so that you have access to this material. Okay, so the other time I talked about branding. One way you brand yourself is through portfolios. All right, a portfolio is I used to call it a truth document. What does that mean? If I have a very nice CV, of course, we are going to share one with you. Your CV is basically just a document that tells me that you have done a lot of things. However, because it is tech and it is open to everybody, whether you studied mechanical engineering, whether you studied Yoruba language or agricultural studies, whether you studied computer science, it is open to everybody. If someone that studied Yoruba language has better skills than someone that has BSc in computer science, trust me, every organization will go for the person that has value to bring to the table. How are we able to certify that, oh, those things that you wrote in your CV, you have actually done them before? It is through a portfolio. A portfolio tells the organization that, oh, actually, this person has done this before. So let's quickly look at this. This is Lois Oumi's portfolio. Now, a portfolio basically, like I said, is a truth document, which means, oh, I've written my CV. I've said, oh, I have built a model before. I've done this project and completed the project. It's fine. How do we certify? How do we verify that these things are actually true? This is the job of your portfolio, right? So from Lois's portfolio, let's quickly view her portfolio. So you can see the projects that she has done. And not just see it, there is a link, something to talk about the project. So it's not just something written in a document, right? Look at the diagram that she built, that she created by herself. And I tell you for free that all of these things were learned here at Nebient Analytics. Okay, these things were learned here at what? Nebient Analytics. This is Lois's portfolio. So, I mean, if it interests you, okay, to go through, you can go through everything. You can see different portfolio created by different students who have gone through the Nebient Analytics program. So if it is to show workings, yes, there is workings to show for it. Okay, so if you want to go beyond just having a nice CV into having a portfolio that verifies and certifies, and I mean, this thing puts you at the top of hiring companies. Why? If a candidate is sharing just CV and you are sharing CV and backing it up with portfolio where they can see what you did, how you did it, the end result of the project, trust me, you are having higher standing than any other candidate that is applying for the job. So you actually need this to brand yourself and put you in a better position than any other talent for the job. So you can always, go through these documents at your free time for those that filled the attendance form. Okay. Now, the last part for today, or the second to the last, because we are still going to take questions from people. Okay. How do you join the class? How exactly do you join the class? So you want to be like Esther, you want to be like Lois, you want to be like Naomi, Oluwaseun, and the likes, the people that we have shared their stories so far during this session. What you need to do basically is to join our next session, right? Join our next session. So this date is not going to be the 4th of October. It's going to actually be the last session for the year 2025. And from my calendar here, what I can see is the 1st of November, right? The last session for the year, because we're going to be shutting down, all right, of course, for the year. So the last session for this year, 2025, is going to be holding on the 1st of November. Now, why is it so? It's very simple. I want to look at my, what's the word now? New Year's resolution. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe I earn, say, 200,000, 300,000 at the moment. And I'm saying, oh, on the average, maybe Emeka or Julius, that is a tech bro, stays at home for most of the week and is doing better than myself. In the new year, I want to have this kind of lifestyle as well. You want to start November, 3 months. You are looking at November, December, January, intensive training, 1 month of internship. But even before your 1 month of internship, by the end of that February, when you are done with your class, you want to start applying to jobs already, right? You want to start applying to jobs. So what that basically means is that when you are praying December 31st, you are going for crossover service, for New Year's resolution, all right, for a better life. God should provide. Remember that you also have a part to play. And your own part to play is to make sure that you have the requisite skills that blessing will come upon. Guess what? Blessing just joined the call. Okay, now what I'm trying to say is that if you calculate very well, if you are very calculative, ideally you would have started this program on the 4th of October so that you do training in October, November, December, January, internship and job application. But now it is not too late. We have given one more chance for the last boss of the year 2025, which is going to start in the month of November. The goal at the end of the day is that when I'm starting my 2026, I'm looking at landing a role as either a data analyst, a data scientist, or a business analyst. So if this is your plan, all right, like we mentioned at the beginning of the session, if this is your plan, then the last boss for the year 2025, that is to start on the 1st of November, I think you want to jump on that bus so that you start the training. Okay? Start the training, get the necessary skills, get the necessary knowledge, the same thing that I know, that I'm able to explain, the same thing that Caleb knows, that he is able to explain. You are able to do that same thing come 2026, and you are looking at landing a job. So the final thing from my end, before we move to your own end, which is the question and answer session, is the price. You see, ideally, this is meant to go for 350,000. But you know how it is with everything. Last boss is usually cheaper. Okay, last boss is usually cheaper. So for the sake of the close of the year, all right, 250,000 naira would be the discount for the last boss of the year 2025. Now, the clause, okay, that's the word. The clause to this price is that it is only open to people who will tell me tonight and say, Dafe, I am willing to jump on this bus in the month of November. So instead of paying 350,000, what you are paying would be 250,000 naira. Remember, if you miss this bus, it means that you are most likely going to start your own tech journey in 2026. So by the time people are completing programs, completing projects, maybe you are now just thinking of starting. And because we are in this session and it's the last session, all right, the last boss in November for 2025, you have the discount for 250K. When we are starting the year afresh, trust me, you will not start or you will not get this same program, this same material, this same value for 250K. All right, it is going to be increased. All right, so this is it. The price is 250,000. Oh, Dafe, I didn't actually plan for 250,000. Is completely okay. I have done a plan for you that I feel should work, right? How do I mean? I can't pay 250,000. It's a lot. I mean, I didn't budget 250,000. Of course, I want to learn this thing. Of course, I've seen how my church members or my colleague that are in the tech space, how they live mostly at home and the likes, and I want to be there. But 250,000 right here and right now, I don't think I can make that payment. Well, don't worry about that. I have, found a way to help you out. What is the way? Step number 1, 3 installment plan payment. If you have 85,000 naira, you can get started. 1 month into the program, which means after 1 month, you pay the first 85K, you rest. 1 month after, you pay 85K, you rest again. 1 month after, you pay the final 80K. That is the best way, to break down this payment. Before you know it, 3 months is gone and you are done making the payment. Oh, what if I don't have the payment? That's 1 month after 85K, I don't have it. Guess what? It's very simple, right? The essence of this whole session, the essence of the whole value is not necessarily for the money. Trust me, if you go out there to learn this, you will not get it at 350K, let alone 250. So if the essence is to deliver value to people, like I said in the beginning, it is my joy to bring people into this space. If that is my goal, right, what then do I need to do? Right, the best thing is that I have tried as much as possible to still bring it down again, to say, you know what, if you don't have this 85K, but okay, guys, I don't have 85K at the moment, but this 250K offer actually does make sense. What can I do? Very simple. You can start with booking a slot with 30,000 naira. What does booking a slot mean? It means that between now and 1st of November, I will now balance 55K. Why? Because I want to make up with my first installment payment. So if you are willing to take this discount, but this 30K discount is just for tonight, okay? The 30K discount is just for tonight, guys. That is the best I can do. I've brought it from 350 to 250, spread the 250 into 3 plans. So for those that will be interested in getting started in the month of November, I want to use this promo, right? And I'm thinking this is the best way I can go about it. Make the first payment. So it means that you are now doing 4 payments instead of 3. 30K this night, 30K tonight. Before the end of the month, 55K. That makes first part complete. Then when you start your training, first month after, you pay the next 85. You can even still break it 30, 50 again, but within that month. Then after that, the next month again, you pay the last 80K. You see, anyhow you choose to break it. The point is that once we leave this session tonight, you may not have access to this installment plan. You may not have access to this promo. And like I said, or discount rather, not a promo, it's a discount from me to you. So there are two things finally that you can do. Make the payment, send me your receipt right here and right now. This is the detail. This is my own personal WhatsApp number, like personal WhatsApp number, right? Make the payment, share your receipt with me on WhatsApp so that we can proceed with further registration steps with you. All right. Oh, Dafe, do you know what? I want to pay the 30K, but network in my area is bad. Just text me, let me know tonight that, okay, you are making the payment. All right. So that I don't close my window of discount on you, right? So these are the different options that I will be offering to you tonight. Now, I still have about 20 people on the call, which means by my calculation, 20 people are still willing to make a move. That is why you are on the call. And I mean, 20 people is already beyond my expectation. Like I said in the beginning, I'm looking for 10. My target, all right, coming into this session was to take 10 people along with me. But since I have 20, that's still a very good number. Okay, so if you have questions, this is the point where you get to raise your hand and I call you to ask your question. So P.O. Amaobi, I see you on the call. Ezekiel, I see you on the call. Shuaib, I see you on the call. Umba, okay, please, Umba, you can unmute your mic and speak. Can you hear me, Umba? You can unmute your mic and speak now. Okay, Amaobi also has questions. Admin, please, could you let Umba speak? I think he's struggling with unmuting his mic. So could you please permit or allow him to unmute his mic? Amaobi, please, if you have a question, you can also go ahead and ask while Umba is trying to unmute his mic. You can also type if that option also works for you so that I can read your question while we wait for the admin on the call to permit you to speak. You can also type, please. Okay. The microphone has been muted by admin. Okay, please, admin on the call, kindly unmute the speakers, please. Kindly unmute the speakers so that they can ask their questions. Inquiries, Nebiant, are you on the call? Please kindly unmute the speakers so that they can ask their questions. Hi, inquiries, can you hear me? Kindly unmute the speakers so that they can ask their questions. I'm unable to do that from my end, please. You may still want to go ahead and type your question while we are trying to sort that out, please. So I'll be expecting a message so that you can type in your questions. Okay, so I'm expecting questions from Umba and Amaobi rather. Okay, Amaobi, where is Nebiant located? Is the contact line of virtual or a mix of both? Okay, fine. Okay, nice question. Given that we're Nigerians, what are the odds landing international employment? Fantastic questions there. All right, so let me start with the first question there. First question is about contact online. Okay, yes, the contact is actually online. Virtually everything is 100% virtual. I mean, what's the point coming for physical classes when, first of all, you might already have yourself occupied with maybe your personal work or study, or personal business and the likes. So what's the point still asking you to come for physical classes? And I mean, everybody that I have mentioned on the call so far, from Esther to Oluwaseun to Lois to Naomi to Lebura to Omoumi and every other person learned virtually. All right, virtually. So the goal at the end of the day is because you want to get a job in a tech company working remotely. It's okay for you to learn some roles that will require hybrid um, work patterns, right? But remote is still the goal at the end of the day. So if you have a remote role or even hybrid, the first thing is there is a lifestyle to it. There are expectations when you work remotely. So we're trying to also ensure that we build such expectation. All right, we build such expectation. We build you to get used to the virtual lifestyle. So the training, 3 months. I mean, if you have done something for 3 months, including the internship, is also virtual. So it's like you are working remotely. You are working from your home. Okay, so the point at the end of the day is to make sure that you have that virtual work experience right from your training into internship, then till the time when you land a job. So everything is fully virtual, but the experience is as though you are in a physical, learning place. Okay, because I mean, just imagine the way the session has gone so far. I'm sure you can't even remember that you're in your house because network has been seamless, the slides, the interactions, and everything. This is just a typical example of what the sessions or the classes are like. All right. So it's completely virtual. Now, second question. Very, very effective, Umba. I promise you, very, very effective. Right? Very, 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 very effective. I mean, if you don't mind, Caleb is here as well. He can also share his own experience from working virtually. I have worked, I've tutored people in a physical space. And for me, maybe because it happened at a time when I was used to the virtual environment, it was a struggle for me to leave my house, right, to go and teach. I already have my lights, I have my system, I have my Wi-Fi, I have the materials on the laptop. When I go to the physical space, it's still from my laptop to a screen, right? It's not as if I'm using a board or I'm writing anything. It's still from laptop to screen. All the examples, I'm typing it on the laptop. I can still share my screen while you are in your house. And I mean, you will see the same thing you would see if we were in a physical space. The only thing for physical space is you are seeing me as a person, whether I'm tall or short or fair or dark. If you are in the comfort of your home, you don't know whether I'm tall or short, right? That's just the difference. It's a tech course, right? So I'm not using Blackboard. I'm not using marker. I'm typing my codes on my laptop. You are seeing it in a screen. The same experience here. I'm typing my code. You are seeing it from your own end on the screen as well. Explanations are going seamlessly as well. So it's very, very effective. Now, Amaobi says, given that we're Nigerians, what are the odds landing international employment? Okay, good question there. The odds are quite high, I can tell you. And the reason is because, first of all, the fact that you're an African puts you in a point where at first they want to even test and see what you have. All right. So the first thing is to land these international jobs, what you need is the proper visibility. right? Proper visibility. You see, if you have visibility, you can do anything. I mean, if you are conversant with the tech space, sometime around last month, there were a lot of students, Unilag students especially, that kept posting, I just landed a role with Bloomberg, I just landed a role with Microsoft, I just landed a role with Amazon. Around last month or 2 months ago, Unilag students still in school, right? Still in school. Now, the point is visibility is the key. You see that LinkedIn, exactly what Naomi did. Okay, that LinkedIn is one of the keys to land international role. Okay, is used in landing international role. I post on my own LinkedIn at least once in a week, interact with people. I've had people from different places that I would not have met if I did not keep posting on LinkedIn, right? To the point where I've had offers personally on LinkedIn. Oh, I just saw this post. It looks like something that I'm looking for in my organization. Do you mind discussing this opportunity with me? If yes, reach out. Do you understand? You can also learn this skill and freelance. I know of someone that learns data analytics, posted on LinkedIn. Someone in the UK doing masters, all right? Someone in the UK doing masters, doing the exact project this guy just posted on his LinkedIn, saw that project, and oh, this is related to something I'm doing. Can you start teaching me so that I can prepare for my exams? That was how that person landed his first role, started earning in dollars, and from there, moved on. So the opportunities are endless. But like I said in the beginning, everything depends on your positioning, what you are doing, where are you using it. There is a lady I follow. I follow her posts on Twitter. She posts like at least 2 or 3 times every day. It was not until late last month or data analyst with an international company. So the opportunities are endless. The question is, are you positioned there? The lady I mentioned, visibility on Twitter, always posting. The other person's LinkedIn, always posting, saying something, talking about what they've learned. I'm able to do this. I learned how to. Oh, I saw this project. I thought I was going to apply this approach. I could not apply it. Instead, I applied the other approach. It got me to the end. The end product, I learned how to do this and this and this with this new approach. You keep talking about these things. That way, people, you build credibility. Most of us, what we want is I've learned skill. They've given me certificates. I will keep applying, job will come. No, all right? As much as that is important, guess what? For some of those jobs you're applying to, they will still ask you, share a link to a social media URL or something, your social media profile. They want to still see what you have been doing online. You may test it and see. In fact, not just in tech, some other companies you would have applied, wonderful CV. The last part, you will now say, share a link to your social media profile. They want to still see if you are interested. Some of us, our social media is talking about something else. You are applying for a role somewhere else. Okay, someone applying as a data scientist, but his social media is talking about digital marketing. We are not even sure that you know what you are talking about, right? So these are the concerns. These are the ways that you get to position yourself for these global international opportunities, right? So let me quickly take the next question. Anything physical is not for me. Virtual is very okay. Nibiant has good recommendations online. Thank you very much, Amalbi. Even thousands of followers on LinkedIn, and that's hard. Yes, thank you. It shows that you have been following the brand for quite a while. Okay. Umba says, I am 63 years old, though exposed to the corporate world. Fantastic. So I may not be tech savvy. I am somehow conversant with Excel and statistics, but not for data analysis. Trust me, you're already in a good position. And age is not a barrier in tech. If a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 19, 20-year-old can get the opportunity, a 63-year-old can also get the opportunity, right? It's an evolving world. What people are interested in is value, not age. Okay, currently it's value that tells much more than age. So you already have a good standing. First of all, corporate world, you have vast experience there. Secondly, you have experience with Microsoft Excel. Thirdly, you have experience in statistics. You are at least 50%, if you ask me, a data analyst already. Learn the other things that you need, okay, to put you in a better position to land these roles. And pardon me to say, but at 63, I don't think you want to be going outside your house to the office every day. Working from home would work for you. So if you get the skills, you can start looking at landing remote roles. So that's my own personal bit of advice, if I will put it that way, for you. Okay, Amobi says, even if learning these codes might seem hard, learning how to use LinkedIn and pitch for jobs with you guys is definitely a plus. Exactly, because that stuff is hard to do alone. Exactly. That's just the point, right? It's not just about learning the codes and all of that. It's also about the branding, the positioning, the visibility that you get alongside Nibian. So Amaobi, I'm already looking forward to having you in class, right? So I'll just quickly take Theo's question before we shut down for the evening. Speaking of impact, what are the success rate of your students? That is how many were taken in and how many landed tech jobs. 2, I'm enthusiastic about data, but I'm having a challenge deciding between data analytics and data science. Okay, I would explain that to you. Any advice, or can one connect the two? Okay. Thirdly, would I have to drop what I'm doing at the moment, or can I run these tech jobs as a side hustle? Fantastic questions. So let's start with impact. Well, impact very well. I mean, from what I've shared with you so far, the slides, the students that I've mentioned, there are 2 ways that you can view it. You can view it from, oh, they have 100 students and only 10 have gotten jobs. You can also view it from the perspective that, oh, if 10 have gotten jobs, it means that I can also land a job. So it depends on the perspective you want to look at your impact from. The impact I think you should be looking at is, am I getting value for my time? Am I getting value for my money? All right. What they are giving me, the materials, is it good enough to land me the job, by the way? Right. So if you are looking at it from that perspective, I don't think the number of students to the people that have gotten job, all right, should be the question. Impact to you should be, I'm going to put my money in this. Will I learn properly? All right. Will they give me the necessary materials that would aid me to land jobs? You know that for some of us, it's not even about applying, it's about referrals. I can tell you that at least two of the jobs or 3 of the jobs I've done are from referrals, right? Are from referrals. Oh, you do this. Okay, no problem. Next month, 2 months later, 3 months later, the person calls me and say, oh, I heard of a guy that needs someone that is a data analyst or a data scientist. Are you free? Can you do the job? Yes, send your CV. Okay, so if you're always looking at, how many people applied, how many people got job, your own job might not come from that angle. So if you are using that as a yardstick to measure impact, you will be wrong, right? You would be wrong. Now, the next question, enthusiastic about data. Okay, learning data analytics or data science. So let me quickly break it down. Data analytics helps you to do 2 things, right? Data analytics helps you to do what is called descriptive, okay? Descriptive statistics, all right? Descriptive and diagnostic statistics, analytics. Now, what do I mean by descriptive and diagnostic? It's like a detective. Something has happened or something is happening. You were not there. You came into the crime scene and then you are asking questions like, what happened? How did it happen? What time did it happen? For how long has it been happening? By the time you ask all these questions, the people at the crime scene may not know who the criminal is, as it were, because the person must have probably escaped. But the detective who was not even there is able to tell what has happened, why it has happened, and tell who the suspect is. So for a data analyst, the company gives you data, and then you are asking questions like, oh, what's the total number? How many of these do we have? What's the total sales? Why is it that the sale has been high in this branch and is very low in that branch? So as a data analyst, you are basically seeking, insights. You are asking questions from the data to seek insights. For the data scientist, rather, the data scientist is like a prophet seeing ahead of time, predicting outcomes, predicting future behaviors. All right. Oh, with this way this guy is behaving, is likely to churn, which means he's likely to leave this organization and maybe start patronizing the other organization. Oh, the fact that he likes A means that he's also likely to like B. Let us give him that content. Like Caleb mentioned, Jumia and Konga and the likes. When you like Dell laptop or you click on Dell laptop, they push HP, Lenovo, and the likes to you. That's predicting behavior and future outcome. That's the work of a data scientist. While the work of a data analyst is to detect, is to ask questions and generate insights from data. Okay, so for the third question, would you have to drop anything? No, you don't have to. All right, tech jobs are flexible, especially if you're working remotely or working hybrid. You can combine two jobs together. It depends only on time management. Oh, I have to deliver this project for company A between 10 and 12. I have to deliver this project for company B between 12:30 and 1. Split your time, manage everything well, and trust me, you are very, very fine. I mean, I have had the experience working with two companies together, right? So, and I have not had any problems at all whatsoever. I have not had any problems. Okay, so the last thing by Amel B says, okay, so data analytics and full stack data analytics is just name difference. What you are still doing is data analytics. Microsoft full stack is what we are literally giving you. Microsoft Excel, Power BI, Tableau, Looker Studio, SQL and AI for data analytics. So there's nothing else outside this thing that requires any other full stack ability. Okay, so the final thing is advice. Okay, so this is Amelby speaking. Oh, Amelby already paid parts already. Thank you very much, Amelby. Okay, thank you. So guys, the rest is on you. My offer is still on for the 9th. You can drop a message with me. Reach out to me tonight, please. If you are interested, oh, okay, I'm not able to make the transfer. Reach out to me. Oh, can you give me till tomorrow? Reach out to me, but please make it tonight. This is my number. Please reach out to me. We can always work things out and see how best, we can accommodate your needs if possible. So guys, this is where I will be rounding off the session tonight. I hope you have enjoyed every bit of it. If you have, you want to probably give me a reaction as I will be shutting down now. Okay, so I'm expecting messages from everyone still left on the call. Ezekiel, Toluwade, Harvester, Umba, I'm expecting a message from you, or your receipt, Blessing, I'm expecting a message from you. Annie Venaline, if I'm correct, I'm also expecting a message from you. You can take a screenshot of my number and reach out to me. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. That'll be all from me. Good night.